On Mother's Day, I said, "Thank you for the 1-year bus pass." Rowan's jaw tightened. He and Claire had been watching the delivery of the SUV quietly, and this comment tipped their nerves. That moment should have told me everything, but I was still the woman who tried to make sense of things gently, even when the truth was already pressing against the walls. My name is Lucinda Harwood. I am 63 years old. For most of the past year, that slim plastic bus card lived in the front pocket of my wallet, right behind my driver's license. I tapped it on TriMet scanners every day on my way to the small library where I volunteered 2 afternoons a week. I believed Rowan had given it to me, that it was his way of helping without making me feel small. He was a millionaire now, a tech founder with more meetings than hours in the day. Practical gifts made sense to me. They always had. Claire, on the other hand, never liked when anything passed between Rowan and me. She smiled the way people do when they are watching themselves smile. Always composed. Always slightly distant. I told myself it was just her personality. I spent that Mother's Day morning rehearsing a simple thank you. Nothing dramatic. Just a quiet moment to show appreciation. I even held the bus pass in my hand as I walked up the stairs to their Pearl District condo, thinking I would hand it back to Rowan with a hug and tell him it was already worn from use. When we finally sat down for brunch and I lifted my glass to speak, I had no idea those few words would stop the room cold and turn Rowan's expression into something I had never seen before. Rowan's dining table was full, warm plates, soft chatter, the kind of polite laughter families use when they're trying to keep things easy. I sat between Rowan and Claire, close enough to feel how tense she always got when I was near him. I kept my hands folded in my lap until I felt brave enough to speak. "I never thanked you properly," I said, lifting my glass a little. "The 1-year bus pass. It has helped me so much." Rowan's fork slipped from his hand and hit the plate with a sharp clatter. Claire's shoulders went rigid. Her smile disappeared so fast it looked like it had been ripped off her face. Rowan stared at me, recalling the discrepancy he'd noticed days ago between the expected SUV delivery and our accounts. "Mom, what bus pass?" I blinked. "The one you sent. The unlimited one. I've been using it every day." He shook his head once. "Slow. I didn't send you a bus pass." Claire's fingers tightened around her napkin. She didn't say a word. I tried to laugh it off. "Well, someone did. Maybe you forgot." Rowan leaned closer, voice low, almost pained. "Mom, I bought you a brand new SUV. It's yours. In your name. I arranged everything." My breath caught. "An SUV. A new one," he said. "Paid in full. The dealer confirmed delivery last month." I looked from him to Claire. Her face was the color of paper, eyes darting anywhere but at mine. Rowan pushed back his chair and stood. "Mom, if you didn't get the SUV, then someone made sure you didn't." The table fell quiet. Only the clink of cutlery and the darting eyes betrayed the tension. Claire finally whispered, barely audible, "Rowan, let's not do this right now." He didn't look at her. He only looked at me. Rowan pulled out his phone with a sharpness I rarely saw in him. "I'm showing you," he said, tapping fast. "Because something's wrong." Claire shifted in her seat. "Rowan, this isn't necessary." He cut her off. "It's very necessary." He turned the screen toward me. An email thread from a Portland dealership filled the screen. "Here," Rowan said. "Invoice for a brand new SUV, paid in full, in your name." My throat tightened. My name was printed there, clear as day. Rowan scrolled. "Delivery confirmation, signed, vehicle released. All documents verified, released where I asked." My voice thinner than I wanted. "To your duplex." The dealership confirmed, but the delivery had been redirected without my knowledge, apparently intercepted at the front desk. Claire pressed her palms flat on the table as if anchoring herself. "Maybe it's a system mistake." she whispered. Rowan ignored her, tapping the call with urgency. He had suspected something for days. He put the phone on speaker. A man answered, cheerful in that customer service way. "This is Rowan Harwood," Rowan said. "I'm calling about the Wrangler I purchased last month for my mother. It says the vehicle was picked up." "Yes, sir," the man said quickly. "Picked up on schedule." Everything matched. The verification went smoothly. "What verification?" Rowan demanded. "The pickup code from your mother's account." The man replied. Her identification matched the information we received. I stared at the phone as if it could explain how a stranger had apparently become me. Rowan's jaw locked. She never came to pick it up. A long pause. "Sir, our records show she did." Claire's face drained of all remaining color. She looked down, hands trembling under the table. Rowan ended the call abruptly and turned to me. "Mom, someone took your SUV. They took it. And they covered their tracks." The words sank into me slowly, like cold water rising past my knees. Something terrible had already happened. And whoever caused it was close enough to touch. Rowan held out his hand. "Mom, give me your phone." His voice wasn't angry, just too steady to be calm. I unlocked it and placed it in his palm. Claire shifted on her chair, folding her arms like she needed something to hold on to. Rowan opened my email first. "Where are the dealership messages?" he muttered. "They were sent to this address." He searched again. Nothing. He checked the trash folder and found it empty. Someone had forwarded or archived the emails automatically. "I don't usually delete things," I said quietly. "I know." Rowan's eyebrows pulled tight. "And even if you did, trash should still show something. Someone cleared it." Claire let out a thin laugh. Maybe she hit a wrong button. Rowan didn't respond. He went to recent devices. A list of logins appeared mine, and one unfamiliar entry connected to Rowan and Claire's home Wi-Fi. My stomach dropped. "Rowan, I've never checked my email from here." He already knew that. His jaw tightened. "This login was 3 weeks ago." Claire's voice cracked a little. "Well, maybe she visited that day. I remember that day." I interrupted. "I was tired. I fell asleep on your couch. When I woke up, you were holding my phone. Claire, you said you were fixing my ringtones." The room went silent. Claire blinked too fast. "Lucinda, I was helping your phone kept buzzing. Remember? No." Rowan said, "Her phone doesn't buzz. She keeps it on silent." Claire looked at him sharply, but he didn't look back. Rowan kept scrolling. "There's more. 2 verification messages were opened that day. Not rate opened, and Mom doesn't know her email password." I nodded slowly. "You set it for me years ago, so someone else entered it," Rowan said. "From this house?" Claire's chair scraped softly as she shifted away. "Rowan, stop twisting everything. This is turning into something it isn't." But Rowan's voice turned quiet and deliberate. "No, something's already wrong. And the closer I look, the more it points in one direction." I watched him place my phone on the table between us, the screen still glowing with the foreign login. A cold, careful thought entered my mind as I looked at Claire's trembling hands. Rowan kept scrolling through my phone, searching for anything that explained how an SUV meant for me had vanished. Claire stayed quiet, her eyes fixed on the table. But something about the silence pressed against my chest. I felt it rising memories I had buried because they didn't seem worth troubling anyone over. "I should have seen something," I murmured. Rowan glanced up, seen what little moments came back in sharp flashes. There was the afternoon last fall when I stopped by their condo without warning. Claire opened the door only halfway. "Lucinda, I wish you'd told us you were coming," she said. Voice smooth but cold at the edges. "We prefer scheduled visits. It keeps things organized." I'd smiled then, apologized, even though I was the mother, and she lived in the home my son paid for. Another memory surfaced, one that landed heavier. Rowan had mentioned buying me a small used car years ago, something with 4 doors and easy handling. I remembered Claire's response clearly. Even now. She had dismissed a small used car years ago, but now the new SUV was the one meant for me. She'd said it lightly, but with a certainty that left no room for Rowan to argue. He'd let it go. I'd let it go. We all let things go when we shouldn't. I rubbed my hands together under the table. My mail. Do you remember when I kept missing letters from the insurance company? Rowan frowned. You said the post office messed up. That's what I thought. I said, until I found 3 letters she'd missed. Found behind the porch chair while I cleaned. Weeks old. Claire let out a strained laugh. Mail gets lost all the time, and the texts, I said, turning toward her. The ones Rowan said he sent, but never reached me. The ones you claimed I must have deleted. I don't control your phone, Claire snapped. You're implying something ridiculous. Rowan shot her a look that made her sink back into her chair. I inhaled slowly. These were small things. I convinced myself they weren't important. Rowan's expression tightened with understanding, too late understanding. Claire stared at me with something colder than fear. And I realized then that maybe these weren't accidents at all. Maybe they never had been. Rowan took my phone again, but this time his movements were sharper, more controlled. I'm pulling up the dealership portal, he said. I want to see who actually signed for the SUV. Claire's head jerked up. Rowan, you're overreacting. No, he said. I'm not. He logged into his account with the dealership, his jaw tight enough to tremble. A page loaded with a digital signature line and electronic scribble captured by a stylus. Rowan zoomed in. Rowan had monitored the account. The signature appeared at 3:27, confirming his suspicions. I stared at the date. Claire's fingers curled into her palms. That was the day I ran errands, she said quickly. You remember I went to pick up the dry cleaning and you told me you were home all afternoon, Rowan said, voice flat. Claire blinked. I must have mixed up days. No, Rowan repeated, eyes still on the screen. You didn't. He tapped into another section, the delivery timeline. My stomach tightened when he pointed at the entry. Delivery verification code forwarded. Rowan read aloud. 5 minutes after the signature. Forwarded from Mom's email to your address. Claire. My heart thudded hard enough to feel in my throat. Claire lifted her chin. That's not possible. Why would I forward anything? Rowan opened the email metadata. Here's the IP address used to forward it. It matches our home Wi-Fi. And Mom never used her email here. I don't understand what you're implying. Claire snapped. Anyone could have. Stop, Rowan said. Not loud, just final. He tapped to open another file. And this is the pickup confirmation. Sent to you. Not to Mom. Not to me. To you. Claire's eyes flashed with panic. Rowan, please, I didn't steal anything. I was trying to help who he asked, because you didn't help my mother. You didn't help me. You didn't even help yourself. She looked like she wanted to lunge across the table, grab the phone, erase everything, but Rowan held it out of reach. His expression no longer confused or patient, only cold. He placed my phone down gently, but the gesture held more weight than if he'd slammed it. This isn't an error, and it isn't an accident, he said. Claire backed away from the table as though the evidence itself could burn her. Rowan didn't move, and neither did I. The truth was on the screen, illuminated and undeniable. Rowan stood from the table so abruptly his chair scraped across the floor. Claire, he said, voice low, come with me. She hesitated, eyes darting between us, but followed him down the short hallway toward the guest room. I remained at the table, close enough to hear the voices, far enough that they thought I wasn't listening. The door didn't close all the way. Rowan's voice came first. "Tell me the truth. Now." Claire let out a shaky breath. "I already told you this is a dealership mess. They must have sent the pickup code to the wrong person. They sent it to Mom's email," Rowan said. "And it was forwarded to yours. You're twisting it." Claire snapped. "You know technology glitches all the time. Maybe she forwarded it herself and forgot. She's 63. Rowan, people her age stop." His tone cut through the air. "Don't talk about her like that." Silence. Then Claire tried another angle. "Rowan, your mother gets confused sometimes. Remember when she misplaced her insurance letters? Or when she thought I deleted her texts? She's overwhelmed. You know how she is." My chest tightened. Gaslighting slow, careful, calculated. Rowan didn't buy it. I checked the metadata. He said, "The code was forwarded from this house, from our router, 5 minutes after the digital signature was captured. You said you were running errands that day." "I was," Claire insisted. "Or maybe I came back early. I don't remember every minute of my day." Rowan stepped closer. I could feel the heat in his words even from the hallway. "Claire, stop lying. Just tell me why." A choked sound left her throat, anger or fear. "I couldn't tell." "Fine," she whispered. "Fine. You want the truth," Claire admitted, voice trembling. That she feared losing control over Rowan if Mom drove the SUV. Rowan didn't speak. Claire pushed on, voice cracking. "Every time she shows up, she takes you from me. She gets inside your head. You drop everything for her. I'm your wife. Rowan, I'm supposed to come first. You stole from her," Rowan said quietly. "You humiliated her. And you lied to me." Claire wiped her face with shaking hands. "I was scared. I thought if she had a car, she'd be around constantly. I thought I'd lose you." I heard Rowan exhale slowly, a long, painful sound. When he spoke again, his voice was steady, but it held nothing soft. "You didn't lose me because of her," he said. "You lost me because of what you chose to do." His footsteps returned toward the dining room, his face set like stone. Rowan returned to the dining room with a look I had never seen on him, steady, exhausted, and done. "Both of you come to the living room," he said. "We're finishing this now." Claire followed slowly, wiping her face, her steps uneven. I stayed behind him, my palm pressed against my chest to steady my own breath. Rowan switched on the TV and connected his phone. "Sit," he told Claire. She obeyed like someone who already knew the ending. Rowan explained each slide carefully, showing timestamps and IPs so I could follow the evidence. 3:27 in the afternoon, Rowan said, April 10th. "The day you said you never left the house." Claire swallowed hard but said nothing. He swiped to the next slide. "Forwarded verification code. From Mom's email to your address." 5 minutes later, her hands clenched. Another swipe dealership pickup confirmation. Sent only to Claire. "And here," Rowan said, voice tightening, "is the footage from the dealership lot. The timestamp matches your errand time." Claire's voice cracked open. "Rowan, please, no more lies," he said. "Just say it." She trembled, staring at the carpet. "Fine, fine." I took the SUV. I felt the room tilt beneath me. Claire kept talking, words stumbling out in waves. I didn't want her driving around here. I didn't want her showing up whenever she wanted. I didn't want her thinking she had space in our life. "Every time she calls, you drop everything." I was scared. I felt like I was losing you. Rowan let out a breath that shook. "So you stole from her." "I didn't steal. I prevented a problem." Her voice rose. "You don't understand what it feels like to always come second. To compete with your own mother." Rowan closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, the softness was gone. I never made you compete, he said. You chose that on your own. He pointed toward the hallway. Pack your things. You're leaving today. Claire's face crumpled. Rowan, you don't mean that I do, he said. You crossed every line. She looked at me, then really looked. You could have said something, she whispered. You could have told him to choose you less. I felt something painful twist inside me. My quietness, my gratitude, my carefulness things. I always believed kept the peace had left space for someone else's resentment to grow. Rowan rested a hand on the back of my chair. Mom is not the problem. He said, the problem is what you allowed yourself to do. Claire sobbed once, sharp and small, then stood and walked down the hall. The room stayed frozen around us, as if nothing could move until the weight of what she'd done finally settled. 2 days after everything fell apart, Rowan showed up at my duplex without warning. He was standing on the sidewalk beside a dark blue SUV, its paint catching the faint light like it had been waiting for me all along. The dealership released it after Rowan confirmed all paperwork and insurance had been processed. They were apologetic. They thought it was you who picked it up. I stepped outside, my hands cold even though the air was warm. You didn't have to rush. I did, he said quietly. I should have noticed sooner. I'm sorry, Mom. He held out the keys. They rested in his palm like something fragile. I took them slowly, the metal cool against my skin. I wanted you to feel safe, Rowan murmured. To have freedom, not limits. This was always meant for you. I opened the driver's door. The new car scent hit me, sharp and unfamiliar. I placed my hand on the steering wheel, feeling an ache rise in my chest. Grief for what had happened, gratitude for what was given back, and something else I hadn't felt in years. Room to breathe. Rowan stood beside me, waiting. What does it mean? I said slowly. To finally receive something I was never meant to lose. Rowan came by a week later, looking heavier than I had ever seen him. He sat at my kitchen table, hands clasped. I filed for separation, he said. Claire moved out yesterday. I nodded. I didn't celebrate, didn't soften it. You needed to choose peace, I said, not sides. He looked up, eyes red. I don't want you to disappear from my life again, but I also don't want to rely on you to make decisions for me. That's good, I told him, because I'm setting some boundaries too. He waited. I love you, I said, but I won't shrink myself anymore so someone else feels secure. I won't do that again. Rowan exhaled, long and shaky. I understand. 2 days later, I took the SUV out for my first real drive. No destination, no schedule. I headed toward the Oregon coast, letting the road unwind under my hands. The hum of the engine felt steady, like something inside me was realigning. When I reached the overlook near Cannon Beach, I parked and rolled the windows down. The wind tugged at my hair, carrying salt and cold and something that made my chest loosen. I sat there for a long time, holding the steering wheel, feeling the weight of a life I'd tiptoed through for too many years. I was driving this SUV for myself, fully in control, without anyone telling me what to do without apology, without shrinking, without waiting to be told where I fit. For anyone listening, if a story ever forced you to see the truth you tried to ignore, you're not alone. Like, comment, or subscribe if this hit home.